52nd Venice Biennale kicked off this month, by far the biggest arts jamboree on the circuit. Curators, collectors, dealers, artists, press descended on Venice for what's been called the equivalent of an arts Olympics. The traditional centre of the Biennale is here in the Giardini, or public gardens, where various nations have their pavilions. These tend to reflect stereotypes of national identity. Britain is up on a hill with classical columns, the USA is basically the White House, the Greeks have a Byzantine church, and the Nordic pavilion is all cool modernism.
When you have the pavilions dedicated to one artist, it's a good show. So you're seeing fantastic international art in a really great setting and against, Venice. How much better can it get? Except for, I'd say, don't come during opening week. It's on, I think, till October or November. Get away from the mad crowds.
Well, it's a bit like the Cannes Film Festival for art. It's a vast exhibition. It's organised really in three chunks. You've got the Giardini, the public gardens, where you have the national pavilions, 30 or so national pavilions. Each country has an artist or several artists representing them. Then you've got a big independent exhibition, which an independent curator puts together every 2 years. And this one's called Think with the Senses, Feel with the Mind, and it's curated by Robert Storr, who's a very kind of highly esteemed curator and academic at Yale. They always have these loose titles because actually it's usually a huge kind of bringing together all kinds of artists who the curator just kind of thinks is worth looking at the moment. And Robert Storr in this case has gone right through the generations from old to young. Then the third kind of tranche of the Biennale, which is, I think, to my mind, one of the most interesting, is what they rather unfortunately call collateral events, which is events throughout Venice, all kinds of countries having separate manifestations throughout Venice, and a whole load of exhibitions taking place in parts of Venice that you often very rarely see.
Venice is a great thing because it has this unique blend of national pavilions where 40 of the world's most significant nations 100 years ago who have permanent pavilions in the Giardini choose the artists that they think are most interesting. So you get these very odd mixtures. And then the newer cultural forces trying to colonise different buildings around the city. So art becomes like a rash of national projection and identity around Venice.
The Venice Biennale is kind of like a World Cup of art. It's a place where people all over the world are trying to show their best in relation to art production.
It's like a grown-up version of an Easter egg hunt. Where are the Easter eggs? Because there's vast amounts of art, but most of it is bad. And finding the good art, that's your Easter egg hunt.
It's very tiring. It's in Venice, which is a fantastic city, but it's a very idiosyncratic city for getting around. So, you need comfortable shoes, a sense of humour and lots of water, basically.